Hi guys, it's that time again. And oh, by the way, I did not take a shower at all whatsoever. You can't tell, can't you? So, this is the final film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase Two. That's the second wave of movies. After the first Avengers and before Captain America: Civil War, and it's a surprisingly very delightful movie called Ant-Man, which kind of surprised a lot of people in how good it was. Sadly, I don't really have any Ant-Man memorabilia to show off here in this commentary. There was, however, a very interesting looking Lego set released a few years ago that I didn't get a chance to buy because of, money. But, regardless, I still really enjoyed this movie. I watched it when it came out, obviously, as I did with all the Marvel movies after, Thor: The Dark World, well, from Dark World and onward. And, yeah, so, Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd, directed by Peyton Reed. Sorry, I blinked there for a second. And hold on a second. Don't press play just yet. Yeah. Here we go. The Triskelion, ladies and gentlemen. This is years ago, 1989, obviously. And of course, it's years before we see it in The Winter Soldier. That's John Slattery as, Howard Stark. And look at that! That's Michael Douglas. And of course, the love of my life, Hayley Atwell. This is her fourth Marvel movie. And this guy also shows up, by the way. Michael Douglas and this douche both have a little de-aging technology on your face. You can kind of tell it on... Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Smash! Clearly this guy's unstable when it comes to his wife. Well, he hasn't changed at all. We don't accept it. Formally. Hank, we need you. I love this scene because it pretty much sets up everything you need to know about Hank Pym. As long as I am alive. Yeesh, that looks weird. We'll ever get that formula. Unless you wanted to, right? Nope. I've known Hank Pym for a long time. Obviously hinting at what he can really do. And the new Marvel logo, the one I love so much. And Scotland. Give it to me. Present day. That, by the way, happens all the time in prison. Yeah, this guy's clearly no match for this other guy. No. Boom! Clear fighting techniques. Ah, come. Number one rule, if you fight with someone in prison, he's your best friend for life. I forget the city this takes place in. I think it's San Francisco. Because of the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge. There he is! Michael Pena! The definite highlight of this movie. And that's not taking away from Paul Rudd at all. Clearly these guys have been in prison multiple times. This is really a movie about a guy breaking out of prison. Now, I have heard people saying that this character is very racially offensive, and that they really wanted to just get up and leave while they were watching the movie. Well, I obviously am not a Mexican immigrant in the United States, so it doesn't hit me the same way. Yeah. True. Yeah, I still need to find a job though. It's literally goofy. Mustard on pretzels! It's an ice cream shop, damn it! His name is Jack. I'm pretty sure he can get fired for that. Speaking of which.
3 years at San Quentin.
3 years.
Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Is that an ad for Baskin Robbins? It doesn't really sound like a very good one.
I don't do it anymore. I just try to respect. I couldn't be happier about it. Really? Yeah. Thank you. Really stuck it to those billionaire SOBs. The more I read about what she did and stuff, I'm like, wow, I know this guy. I'm in charge of this guy. Well, I'm very happy in this job, and I really just appreciate the opportunity to help supply, of course.
True.
No, it wasn't a violent crime. It was a cool crime. I'll tell you what, though, this was totally off the books, off the records. But if you want to grab one of those mango fruit blasts on your way out the door, I'll just pretend I didn't see it.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to fire a guy over something like that. Because like you said, it wasn't a violent crime. And it's not like he's hurting the company he's working for, right? I don't know. Also, this movie is a very street-level hero. I mean, you just had a movie about a bunch of godlike characters, you know, fighting an evil robot who's dropping cities from the sky. And then you gotta get this movie about, you know, a guy who spent some time in prison trying to find a job, you know, living in some rundown neighborhood. And, you know, saving his neighborhood and his daughter, mostly. That's David Dastmalchian, I hope I said his name right. David Dastmalchian, something like that. This guy was one of the few actors who jumped between Marvel and DC. He played, well, very small roles. He played a very, very, very small role in Gotham, and he played Abracadabra and in The Flash. And that guy is, I think, is a rapper by the name of T.I. What?
What are you doing? Why are you telling my life story to these guys? What
Oh yeah, about that.
My cousin talked to this guy 2 weeks ago about this little perfect job. No way. No, wait. This guy fits
He
your
hasn't
remote.
told you.
I'm finished, man. I'm not going back to jail. It's some retired millionaire living off his golden parachute. It's a perfect Scott Lang mark. I don't care. I'm out.
And now, through the magic of editing, we know exactly why. Oh no, that's not that scene yet. I thought they were going for that scene of him and his daughter.
Yes, I'm still alive.
By the way. It shows you a bit of a focus on that keychain that we're going to see a little later. Yeah, look, it's Boldy.
Good morning, Hank.
Oh, it'd kill you to call me Dad.
Dr. Cross will be so pleased.
It shows you the relationship these two people have, without putting it too much in your face. They're obviously their father and daughter, and they have a beef between each other.
We're ready for you inside.
Corey Stone is actually a very underrated villain in the MCU, in my opinion. He does have his moments of lameness, but he does pretty much portray a genuine threat, especially when he goes after Scott Lang's daughter. How's your nose? I love this presentation too.
This company's founder and my mentor, Dr. Hank Pym.
Huh. He's already planning to take over. Well, technically he did, but never mind.
That could change the distance between atoms while increasing density and strength.
That explains to you why he's still strong when he's small.
Cobwebs of Hank's research, I couldn't tell you. But just imagine a soldier
The size of an insect. Shield, obviously.
the ultimate secret weapon.
I love this old footage stuff. Shows you that the Ant-Man was real years ago.
And ants?
Man.
That's what they call them. Right, Hank?
It doesn't really show you the actual costume, the old one.
Propaganda.
Tales to Astonish! That's the name of the comic book that Ant-Man showed up in.
Our guests, what you told me every single time I asked you was the Ant-Man movie. Just a tall tale, right?
A short tale.
Anything so miraculous possibly be real. Well, I was inspired by the legend of the Ant-Man. And with my breakthrough shrinking inorganic material, I thought, could it be possible to shrink a person? Could that be done? Well,
It's kind of funny how
it's not a
they
legend
didn't really
anymore.
mention the existence of of Ant-Man until this movie. Yet clearly he has been around for a while, especially in the 80s. That's where the war footage
Is an all-purpose
came
weapon
from.
of war, capable of altering the size of the wearer for the ultimate combat advantage.
We live in an era
Cross technology.
we use to protect ourselves are undermined by constant surveillance. It's time to return to a simpler age, one where the powers of freedom can once again operate openly to protect their interests. An all-purpose peacekeeping vessel,
Whoosh!
the Yellow Jacket, can manage any conflict on the geopolitical landscape, completely unseen, efficient in both preventative measures and tactical assault. Practical applications include surveillance, industrial sabotage, and
Yeah, 'cause that's always good.
of obstructions on the road to peace. A single Yellow Jacket offers the user unlimited influence to carry out
Eesh.
actions. And one day
That's
soon,
brutal.
an army of Yellow Jackets will create a sustainable environment of well-being around the world.
That's gotta be the worst presentation ever.
So it's a suit.
Like Iron Man.
Don't be crude, Frank. It's not a suit, it's a vessel. What's the matter? You're not impressed?
I'm impressed. I'm also concerned. Imagine what our enemies could do with this tech.
We should have
If they get it.
longer conversation about that, Frank. I really value your opinion.
Take your hand off me.
Thank you for coming. Oh.
Thank you very much, everybody. I will escort you out now. Thank you.
Seem a bit shocked.
Darren, there's a reason that I buried these secrets.
You finally admit it. We could have done this together, Hank, but you ruined that. That's when you're the past and I'm the future.
Don't do this.
Dr. Cross.
You sell to me first. Corvus only has a price. I'm gonna have the cash share in 2 weeks.
Now, a little thing to note about the Yellow Jacket. In the comics, the Yellow Jacket is actually Hank Pym himself after he lost his mind, because Hank Pym was a very mentally unstable person, and eventually he got multiple personality disorder, and one of his multiple personalities was the Yellow Jacket, where he became basically a bit of an anti-hero. He became pretty, he developed brutal tactics, and something pretty much unbecoming of an Avenger, because yes, he was a core Avenger. He was one of the founding members of the Avengers in the comics, until he became, you know, the Yellow Jacket. So, they had this clever idea in the movies to have Ant-Man and the Yellow Jacket two completely separate people, and the Yellow Jacket is the villain. I bet she did.
Of course, sweetheart, it's your birthday.
Yeesh!
You were my bestest friend.
He's so ugly. I love him.
Aw, she's so cute. I can't believe Bobby Cannavale is in a Marvel movie. Come on!
This is hard finding a job. I'm not I'm sure you'll figure it out. Now, I want you out of my house, okay? It's my daughter's birthday. It's my house. So what? It's my kid.
Ah, there he is. She is. Judy Greer.
Come on.
It's a birthday party.
Yeah, I know. You can't just show up.
It's my daughter. All right, first thing about being a father.
Maggie, I tell you this is a friend and it's the first love of my life. Your fiance is an
Is an asshat.
Really, Maggie? That guy? Come on, you can marry anyone you want. You have to get engaged to a cop?
At least he's not a crook.
I'm trying, okay? I changed it. I'm straight. I had a job.
Had.
I want to provide. I had a lot of time to think about it, and I love her so much.
How did he provide for her
Time, and I want to be
from
part of her life.
inside a jail cell?
What do I do?
Get an apartment. Get a job.
Technically, he has one.
Pay child support. Then we will talk about visitation. I promise. We're heroes, guys.
Technically speaking, you know, after this movie, did he actually, you know, get paid by Hank to do any of his Ant-Man stuff? Close the door when you pee! I hate when people do that. You're not at home, damn it.
We can't just do whatever we want. Be nice, though, right?
I don't want to walk into the bathroom and see other people
There are laws.
pissing.
Laws of man. The laws of nature transcend the laws of
Also, speaking of Yellow Jacket, I love that they actually kept this character bald, because that's a reference to one of Ant-Man's biggest villains, Egghead. I'm pretty sure the name Darren Cross was, you know, a throwaway name once. Of course, you need a scene to show you just how evil the villain is. And he basically just murdered a guy. Yeah, just washing his hands after that. Like nothing ever happened. Come here, Timmy.
And today, during my morning meditation, an interesting thought occurred to me, and I think it might apply to you too.
How's that?
Gratitude can be forgiveness. I've spent years carrying around my anger for hate. I devoted my genius to him. Could have worked anywhere. I chose my mentor poorly. You didn't have a choice. He never believed in you.
He did more than you think.
What we had to do, but he forced us to do it, didn't he? But we shouldn't be angry. We should be grateful.
They voted him out of his company. You pretty much understand that from the conversation itself.
Forced us to spread our wings.
You're a success, Darren. Deserve everything coming your way.
I think that's the name of the... That's the same, No, it couldn't be. I thought it was the same, you know, store for, from Spider-Man Homecoming, but it's in a completely different city.
Hey, what's up, hot shot? How's the party?
When a guy just walks in and drinks a beer, you know it wasn't good.
Tell me about that trip. What? I want to know about that.
I love the life these guys are living.
I just need to know where it came from. It's got to be airtight.
Very airtight.
I was at a wine tasting with my cousin Ernesto. It was mainly red. You know I don't like red, man. You know, there was a rosé that saved the day. It was delightful. And he tells me about this girl, Emily, that we used to kick it with. It was actually the first pair of boobs that I ever touched.
It's the wrong details. It's the wrong. It has nothing to do with the story.
So, he tells me that she's working as a housekeeper now, right? And she's
I love the way he's explaining things, and all the characters in the story he's telling are talking like him. It's genius.
that's how retired now, but he's loaded. And so Carlos and Ernesto are on the same softball team. And they get to talking, right? And here comes a good part. Carlos says, "Yo, man, this guy's got a big ass safe just sitting in the basement."
Just look at that.
Comes to me 'cause he knows I got magazines. Of course, I asked him, "Did Emily tell Carlos to tell you to get to me what kind of safe it was?" And he says, "Nah, dog. All she said is that it's like super legit, and whatever's in it, it's gotta be good."
Hey,
Old man, have safe.
very simple.
All right. There's an old man. He's got a safe, and he's gone for a week. Let's just work with that.
Start with those details for the next time. And this kind of shows you that, hey, Scott Lang is not a hero. He's a thief. That's what he is. That's how he basically starts out. He starts out as a thief. So he's not very much a traditional superhero, but he turns over a new leaf. And it really kind of shows you the intricate plotting of how a guy is planning to make a heist. Because that's what this movie is. It's a heist movie. It's a movie about some random dudes, you know, pulling off a heist and becoming superheroes in the process. Well, one of them at least. But you know, every superhero needs his sidekicks and supporting characters, right?
We'll be making for a distress call tonight. Okay? Sure. Hey, if the job goes bad, you know I got your back, right? Don't worry. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, shouldn't you cover your face as well? I guess maybe that's a little too suspicious. Yeah, this guy's pretty athletic, apparently. Kwiets. Kwots. Kwots. Kwiets. Also, I love this scene because this scene shows you that Scott Lang is a pro at what he does.
Nice.
You got 20 minutes.
Alright, I'm moving to the house.
Again, that, keychain shaped like a tank. Who would leave their keys lying around? Seriously. Very old tech, but there's a fingerprint lock on the door.
Tell me nothing about that. Oh man, are we screwed?
Not necessarily.
Again, this scene shows you just how clever this guy is and how much he knows his way around the thieving stuff. Genius! And there it is, the score. I love this score. It's a very underrated score this movie has. Where did he get a ring from? Shouldn't he steal the ring instead of the safe? Dum, 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 dum. Now you have a fingerprint. And it just so happens to be the same finger that you need. Brilliant.
No alarms have been triggered. He's in like the thing.
Oh boy.
What is it?
They weren't kidding. The safe is serious.
Legit. That's what they said.
It's a Carbondale. It's from 1910. Made from the same steel as the Titanic.
Wow. Can you crack it?
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't do so well in the cold. Remember what that iceberg did?
Yeah, man, it killed DiCaprio.
Not to kill the old lady. She still throw the jewel into the ocean.
Another clear representation of Scott Lang's smarts. I wonder where do you get one of those self-inflating mattresses? Would have saved me and my mom a lot of hard work in inflating mattresses whenever my siblings came to visit.
What are you doing?
I put water in the locking mechanism and froze it with nitrogen. This expands, and it doesn't.
What are you doing now?
Water, by the way, is the only natural matter that expands when it's frozen. Man, that's genius!
Nice.
What is it, cash? Jewels?
There's nothing here.
What'd you say?
Bam!
It's a suit. What? An old motorcycle suit.
There's no cash, no jewelry, nothing?
No.
It's a bust.
Bust.
I'm really sorry, Scotty. I know you needed
Scotty Eastwood. An ant cam! And for some reason he's still taking the suit. I love that he's got a mixture of, retro 70s and 80s computers mixed in with modern computers from the 1910s. From the 2010s.
I thought we were using mice.
What's the difference?
Mice are already small.
Commence experiment 34C. Organic.
But technically he is kind of right. I mean, you don't have a problem killing mice, but you do have a problem killing goats.
Fires with half the brain.
Or lambs, to be precise. Clearly the particles he's using are different. Zip. Poor lambs. Again, that shows you just how evil this guy is. He's killing lambs!
Sanitize the workstation, bring in subject 35 soon.
Because you always gotta wash after a bust job. And for some reason he still took it. I mean, not that I ever planned to do something like this, but if that kind of stuff happened to me, I just leave the suit there and go home. What could be so important about this thing? Somehow, Hank Pym really counted on him stealing it. For some reason. And what do? You put it on for some reason. Crack the code. I love the suit as well. It's very modernized compared to the comic book suit, but it still pretty much maintains the overall look of it. The helmet kind of looks like an ant, and you know, the little thing on his chest also kind of looks like an ant head. Sweet! How does he ever not, you know, press these things by accident? By the way, this entire sequence is being shot with a brand new technology called microphotography, which it's literally a new technique that Marvel created specifically to shoot this movie. It did not exist before that. It's basically because you know, before this movie, in something like, you know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, they used to build giant sets for the characters to walk around in. Then obviously with the rise of CGI, they used green screen technology and stuff. But now, they can literally shoot inside these small areas, and they just add the person later in post-production. They're filming the scenes with the person in separate, and they're filming the scenes inside, you know, the small areas in separate. Ouch. And it looks magnificent. Yeah, me neither. I mean, just look at how different everything looks like. This is literally... I mean, we've never seen this kind of stuff in a Marvel movie. Or in any comic book movie, for that matter. You know, seeing a superhero film from this angle. Ouch. These guys are stepping on him and he barely feels it because he's still, you know, with that whole density thing. Because if he didn't have that, he should have been dead several times over. Seriously, don't ever leave your Legos lying around like that. It's very irresponsible for Legos. I wonder if mice really do make that kind of noise up close. Whee!
I'll be in touch. No, thank you.
And he's going back there for some reason. And that safe's still open? Well, technically it's still the same day.
You are under arrest. I didn't steal anything.
They almost had us convinced that you were going to change your ways. They were really rooting for you.
And he has to be the one to show up.
You got a visitor. Who? Your lawyer. My lawyer?
Matt Murdock? No, just kidding.
I told you I'd be in touch, Scott. I'm starting to think that you prefer the inside of a jail cell. Sit down.
Ants blocking the camera.
Sir, I'm sorry I stole
By the way, this is the first Marvel movie I ever saw with my dad. Well, technically the first one he saw it. I didn't ask him to watch it. It was just playing on television. And, you know,
the way I see it, you have a choice. You can
he
either
was
spend the rest of
around
your
and he
life
watched
in
it with me.
prison, or go back to your cell and await further instructions.
I don't understand.
No, I don't expect you to. But you don't have any options right now, quite frankly. Neither do I. Why do you think I let you steal that suit in the first place?
Mind blown!
Just don't come around all that much. So the next time you think you might see one, I suggest you take a real close look at it.
And is everyone just gonna ignore the fact that
Sure you don't want a different toy?
these ants just blocked out the footage, specifically when they were talking?
Is Daddy a bad man? I hope don't grow up say he's bad.
Hmm.
Daddy just
What is she gonna say?
sometimes, you know?
He's a good man who makes bad decisions, and that happens to all of us. Buzz, buzz. Ritz! How else would you smuggle something like that in? How do they shrink the helmet, though? 10, 9, 8. There's no way he put that thing on in less than 10 seconds. 4. And that is pretty much when my dad walked into the living room and he saw the rest of the movie with me.
Under the door.
Which is 36 minutes in. There's about an hour and 20 minutes left.
Where the hell did he go? I have no idea. He just vanished. Set up a 5-block square.
Technically now he's a fugitive.
These are my associates.
There's a camera.
On an ant? Yeah, sure. Why
An
not?
ant cam.
Where's the car?
No car, we've got wings.
Incoming.
Boo, 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 boo. And it's like a helicopter.
Put on the central node and mount the thorax.
Are you kidding? How safe is
I'm
that?
a damn ant, Scott.
These ants are huge. The one with the wings. Well, for ants, they're huge.
Why am I on a police car? Shouldn't I not be on a police car?
You're on an ant, stupid.
Past your 5-block perimeter.
Whoa. Alright. Now, what's the next move?
Hang on tight.
Oh, this is easy. I'm getting the hang of this. Yank up the gloves like a horse.
You're throwing 247 off balance.
Wait, his name is 247?
He doesn't have a name, he has a number, Scott. Do you have any idea how many ants there are?
30,000. My dad actually counted. And I'm not joking. He actually did.
No, I think it's
He studied ants for many, many years.
I think I'm getting the hang of this.
I'm controlling 247. He is not listening to you.
What? I think one little request.
No.
I think 247 was the was a very specific Ant-Man comic book,
My helmet, Scott. Do not throw up.
but I don't remember what happened in that one particular issue. Wee. That's dangerous. And you wake up in a mysterious room with a mysterious woman watching you.
Hello? Who are you?
And who undressed me?
Are you been standing there watching me sleep this whole time? Why?
Because the last time you were here, you stole something.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, look.
Yeesh. Lots and lots of ants.
Parapona clavata. Giant tropical bullet ants ranked highest on the Schmidt pain index. They're here to keep an eye on you when I can.
Huh.
Dr. Pym's waiting.
So why was she standing there? Did she have a sensor on where he was when he was gonna wake up?
What pajamas are these?
That's the first thing he thinks about. Very carefully. I really wonder what happens if he actually misses a step, or walks too fast.
By me. Don't step on you.
Take that as service and cross with you. We don't need this guy.
I assume that you've already met my daughter, Hope.
You did?
Kinda.
She doesn't think that we need you.
We don't. We can do this ourselves.
I got all this effort to let you steal my suit, then Hope as you arrested.
Okay, we can try this if it fails. I'll do it myself.
She's a little bit anxious. Has to do with his job. It's judging by the fact that you're sitting opposite me. I take it that you're interested in what place to see. Sure. I was very impressed with how you managed to pass my security system. Reason and metal was particularly clever.
Genius.
God, I've been watching you for a while. Ever since Rob Mystical.
It was actually an internet thing. It was kind of a fake newsreel of how he did it. It was a fake interview where he was talking to this news lady. You can look it up. It's at WHIH something.
You know what, I'm okay.
Ants can lift 100 times their own body weight. 50?
And cooperate with each other.
Right. But how do you make them do that?
I use electromagnetic waves to stimulate their olfactory nerve center. I speak to them. I give them my
Because ants communicate through a special
No, absolutely not.
order. My dad, who studied ants for a lot of years, doesn't believe that a human can produce these kinds of smells.
Sorry, I just have one question. Who are you? Who is she? What the hell's going on here? Can I go back to jail now?
One question, right?
years ago, I created a formula that altered atomic relative distance.
Huh?
I learned how to change the distance
So he says that
suit.
he enjoyed the movie, but the technical side of it is complete bullshit because, like he said, a human can't produce a special kind of order that the ants communicate with. But then again, I said to him, this is a movie about a man shrinking himself and riding an ant like a flying horse. So you gotta suspend your disbelief even a little bit.
But before he was a big deal, he was my assistant. Thought I saw something in him, son I never had, perhaps. He was brilliant, but as we became close, he began to suspect that I wasn't telling him everything. He had rumors about what was called the Pym formula. But I wouldn't help him, so he conspired against me and he voted me out of my own company.
How can he do that?
The board's chairman is my daughter, Hope. She was the deciding vote. But she came back to me when she saw how close Cross was to cracking my formula. The process is highly volatile. One isn't protected by a specialized helmet that can affect the brain's chemistry.
Oh.
I don't think Darren realizes this, and he's not the most stable guy to begin with.
So, what do you want from me?
Scott, I believe that everyone deserves a shot at redemption. Do you?
I do.
You can help me. I promise I can help you be with your daughter again. Now, are you ready to redeem yourself?
Absolutely. My days of breaking into places and stealing shit are done. What do you want me to do?
I need to just break into a place and steal some shit. I love that.
Yeah. Pick something up, text me.
Okay. Good news?
I don't know. What's news?
Are you trying to find my daddy?
Yeah, I am, sweetheart.
I hope you don't.
I just want your daddy to be safe.
Hope you don't catch him.
She's a smart kid. She knows what's going on. I mean, she ain't gonna believe your BS lies. Bah! Bah! Crack the code. And also, we finally... Hold on. Bing. We just learned what happens when you shrink without a helmet, and we know why you can't shrink without a helmet. And we see him realizing it as well.
I spent half my life trying to keep this technology out of the hands of the Stark. I'm sure as hell not going to hand deliver it to one now. This doesn't shoot technology like the Iron Man suit.
References Stark in Civil War.
It's the reality. Besides, they're probably too busy dropping cities out of the sky.
Referencing Age of Ultron.
Send the ants.
They are ants. Ants, they can do a lot of things, but they still need a leader. Somebody that can infiltrate.
Ants always need a queen.
To prevent infiltration. Hank, I'm a thief.
The thing about ants is they operate as a single hive, with the queen being the brain, the rest of the ants being the rest of the body. It's a very fascinating and scary thing, the life of the ants.
I know the facility inside and out. I know how Cross thinks. I know this mission better than anybody
You
here.
need to close to Cross, otherwise this mission cannot work.
You don't have time to screw
Oh,
around.
please,
He is a
listen to me,
criminal.
please.
I'm your daughter.
Putting his foot down. And in a lot of ways, this movie is basically the story of a father and his daughter, with Hank Pym and Hope, and with Scott Lang and Cassie. A guy trying to get his daughter back, from child support, and a guy basically trying to win over his daughter back after she, left him. Kinda. The father-daughter relationships in this movie is one of the many great things about it. And later we're going to learn why. My mom first thought it was a hearing aid, but it isn't. It's you know, the device thing.
Lost her mother. She used to look at me like I was the greatest man in the world. Now she looks at me and it's just disappointment.
And of course she's listening.
It's too late for me. But not for you. This is your chance. The chance to earn
That look in your daughter's eyes.
to become the hero.
She already thinks you are.
It's not about saving our world.
It's about saving theirs.
It's about saving theirs.
Like I said, father-daughter relationship. What kind of a father wouldn't
Scott,
defy the laws of physics to save his daughter? A bad father, that's what.
The relationship between man and the suit is symbiotic. The suit has power. The man harnesses that power. You need to be skillful, agile, and above all, you need to be fast. You should be able to
You gotta-
shrink and grow on a dime. So your
Yep,
size
you gotta control that.
always suits your needs. Now dive through the keyhole, Scott. Charge big. You dive small, then you emerge big.
Yeah, boom! It's like when you're trying to hit a very specific part of a video game tutorial, and you keep failing 1,000 times.
200-pound man behind a fist 100th of an inch wide. You're like a bullet. You punch too hard, you kill someone too soft. It's a left tap. In other words, you have to know how to punch.
I was in prison for 3 years on how to punch.
And how to take a punch.
Terrible.
That was a bad punch.
That's how you punch.
She's been looking
Were
for
you aiming for the hand?
trained in martial arts in a difficult time.
Oh, by difficult time he means when my mother died.
Lost her in a plane crash.
Allegedly.
You won't tell me how she died. Could you please stop telling me that lie? We're working here. All right, princess. Let's get back to work.
I am not a princess!
You know, I think this regulator is holding
Do not screw with the regulator. If that regulator is compromised, he would go subatomic.
What does that mean?
It's a very big setup for later.
It means that you would enter a quantum realm.
What does that mean?
It means that you would enter a reality where all concepts of time and space,
I'm still not sure how that relates to shrinking, but
everything that you know
never mind.
and love, gone forever. Cool.
It ain't broke.
You learn about the suit, but you get to learn about your greatest allies.
The ants.
The ants. Loyal, brave, and your partners on this job.
Now, this is kind of a reference to the very first appearance of Ant-Man when he accidentally shrunk himself and accidentally went inside an anthill. Of course, they attacked him because he couldn't communicate with them yet. He's a little cute. Little CG ant. Yeesh. Not so cute! Not so cute!
That was a lot scarier a second ago. The
Ouch.
Second Future's lab has its own isolated power supply.
There's a security guard posted around the clock. We need you to take
Again, a heist film. That's what it is. It's a movie about fathers and daughters, but at the same time, it's a movie about pulling off heights.
Hey guys, remember me from the bedroom?
You really have to learn to talk to them before you
Hermetically sealed.
go in.
Access point is a tube we estimate to be about 5 millimeters in diameter.
Why do I have a sick feeling in my stomach?
The tube is protected by a laser grid.
It's basically like the plans for the Death Star. I love that.
Next to the bolts before the backup power comes on.
Campanellos, Pennsylvania.
Alternatively known as
Those are real ants, by the way. I talked to my dad about those. All of the ants in this movie are completely scientifically accurate. Minus, of course, the talking to them.
because this time you're really gonna have to learn how to control him. Tell them to put the sugar in the teacup.
Ouch.
Oh, you okay, Doug?
Never lose focus. Yeesh. Abs.
The suit has no weapons, so I made you these discs. Red shrinks, blue enlarges.
I was aiming for the gnome.
Known for their bite, the fire ants have evolved into remarkable architects. They are handy to get you in and out of difficult places.
I love how he learns about all these different stuff.
You could do it, Scott. Come on.
They're not listening to me.
Commit. Shortcuts, lies.
And when I saw this in the theater for the first time, this was immediately in the middle of
I'm helping Scott.
the bathroom break, so I kind of missed this part. That's a little too much sugar, don't you think? Even for me. That's pretty much when I came back to the theater. After the bathroom break, that is.
I don't know why I came to you in the first place.
Because he knows this formula better than anyone.
We can't do this without her.
Oh, God.
You got a locky doors.
Also,
There's some weird folks in this
Do you
neighborhood.
think this is a joke? Do you have any idea what he's asking me, Grace?
I love Hope's hair because this looks exactly like her mother's hair from the comics. Janet Van Dyne's
And he never came
hair,
back. Not in any way that counted.
hairdo.
He sent me off to boarding school. You know, I thought
Just like a certain billionaire playboy philanthropist I know.
maybe we might have a chance of making peace. But even now, he still wants to shut me out.
He just want to shut you out. He trusts you.
He's trying to protect you. That's what fathers do.
Oh,
It's kind of ironic that I saw this movie with my dad. It's the only Marvel movie I saw with him.
that's why I'm here. You must have realized.
Maybe one day I'll just
I mean, swear,
get him to drop everything he's doing and watch all the Marvel movies with him.
this fight.
Nah, he's too busy.
You know, I didn't know you had a daughter when I pulled the clubs on you.
There's that theme again.
What's her name?
Cassie Lang. By the way, in the comics, she also becomes a member of the Young Avengers, I believe, as the superhero Stature, which her power is basically to become giant. Makes sense, obviously, since her father is Ant-Man / Giant Man.
Open your eyes and just think about what you want the ants to do.
Bleep, 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 bleep. Lift.
Good.
It's a start. Spin.
Your mother convinced me to let her join me on my missions. They called her the Wasp. She was born to
It's a true thing in the comics. He actually became, I believe, the leader of the Avengers at one point, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously she's a founding member of the Avengers along with Hank.
It was 1987. Separatists hijacked a Soviet missile silo in Kursk.
So 2 years before the prologue scene.
Launched an ICBM at DNI
Whee.
The only way to the internal mechanics was through solid titanium.
There she is. And they're both wearing the original costumes from the comics with the red and black.
To disarm the missile, but my regulator has sustained too much damage. Your mother, she didn't hesitate.
Shrink! How did he get out of that thing?
She turned off the regulator. Like subatomic.
And now we know why he's so obsessed with subatomic stuff.
She was gone. Your mom died a hero. I spent the next 10 years trying to learn all I could about the quantum realm.
You should ask Doctor Strange. After he gets his powers, that is.
But all I learned was we know nothing.
It's not your fault. She made a choice.
To save the world. I was trying to protect you.
Lost your mother. I didn't mean to lose you too.
This is awesome.
That's
It's awesome. You know? Breaking down walls, you're healing. It's important. I ruined a moment tonight.
Yes, she did.
right.
Go make some tea.
Dum, 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 dum. Nailed it! La 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 la. Kveetsy, kveetsy, kveets. I love Anthony.
That's a good boy, Anthony.
They actually made you care about an ant! That's how great this movie is! Dum 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 dum. Now, after a big emotional, gut punch of a moment, they complemented it with a bit of humor. That's what the Marvel movies do so well! That's why I love these movies so much.
It's crazy. You could make a super plan, right?
Prototype of signal decoy. It's a device that I embedded in my shield base.
We needed to counteract the transmission blockers that Cross installed in the Future's vault.
It's currently collecting dust to one of Howard Stark's old storage facilities.
That's what you think.
Should be a piece of cake. You're over the target area. Disengage now, Scott.
Watch your name. Go.
Go, 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 go! Bums away!
All right, Anthony. Please don't drop me this time.
Technically, you fainted.
Sugar cubes to this?
Stay calm.
Whee!
Might have a problem. Didn't you say this was some old warehouse?
Dun, dun,
Son of a
dun,
bitch.
dun,
Scott, get out of there.
Abort now.
Now, it's kind of odd, but I think it should be noted that as of this moment, that facility has appeared in 4 movies. Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Civil War, and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Somebody's home, Scott.
Oh boy. And it's the Falcon! And he's got that new red suit! That's comic book accurate, for once.
Abort, Scott. Abort now.
It's okay. You
I can
can't see me.
see you. The comedy in this movie's killing me. Hi.
I'm Scott.
Did you just say hi, I'm Scott?
What's wrong? I'm a big fan. Appreciate it. Who the hell are you? Ant-Man.
What?
Ant-Man. What, you haven't heard of
Do
it?
your research.
You wouldn't have heard
I
of
was in the 80s. With
it. You want to tell me what you want? Hoping I can grab a piece of technology just for a few days and then return it to save the world. You know how that is.
I know exactly how that is. Located the breach, bringing him in.
Sorry about this.
Now, here's the thing. When a comic book character shows up in another character's comic book, you kind of let the title character win because it's his comic. So, when a character shows up in another character's movie, the other character needs to win because it's his movie. He's headlining it. But still, you know, Falcon's not going down easily. Ouch. It's basically an Injustice 2 hero fighting hero kind of thing. Oh, look, he's using that move from the earlier montage. You know, kind of, you know, when you think about it, Falcon is, you know, putting up one hell of a fight. He's not going down easy. Just shows you A, how good Ant-Man is, and B, how good Falcon is. And I love it.
I've lost visual.
Boom!
He's inside my tank! Sorry! Seems like a really great guy.
Blech. I love that they actually put Falcon in this movie. There's a bit of connective tissue.
Important to me that Captain never finds out.
Ah, I love that.
Responsible and dangerous. You jeopardized everything.
Here, crybaby. Oh, okay. I don't even knew where to look during all that mess. Don't get used to it.
Hey, how about the fact that I fought an Avenger and didn't die?
And won.
Well, on the past, gotta finish our planning.
Don't mind him. You did good.
She is complimenting him now. That's, you know.
Aaron,
What are you doing here?
how'd you get in here?
Left the front door open, Hank.
Just like Scott said a few minutes ago.
You're old.
Well, to what do I owe this pleasure?
I have good news.
Really? What's that?
Pym Tech. The company
What about it?
created.
I wonder if that car on that little chair is a real car.
We're anticipating
It's a great way to
sales tomorrow.
park the car without actually parking it outside.
You're welcome. I know this is odd, but I'd like
Are you touching me?
this is my moment. I want you to see it. Sure, Dan. Sure. I'll be there.
Or I'll be squid. There she is. Mini Hope.
What did you see?
I don't know.
I know what you mean. All those years ago, you picked me. What did you say? I saw myself. Why did you push me away?
It's not too much of myself.
Yes, I saw too much of myself.
He knows he's baiting you. We have to call it off.
no way.
How do you know that?
That's how. Hold on.
Darren, hi.
Hope, where are you right now?
I'm at home. Why?
I just saw Hank. I still get nothing but contempt from him.
Don't let him rile you up. He's a senile old man.
Around the clock, get the assembly line up and running. And I'm tripling security. Full sensors at all entrances, and exterior air vents fitted with steel micro mesh.
Great. Good idea.
So look,
Does he have any reason to suspect anyone's? I mean, other than, you know, seeing the plans, which he probably didn't.
And he's on to you.
But he is not onto you.
He's adding full body scanners to all entrances and closing exterior vents. How are we gonna get Scott inside?
The water main. You can't add security to a water main.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure is too strong, but if we can decrease it, that's how I get it.
Somebody would have to reach the building's control center to change the water pressure. I mean, Hank and I will decide costs. How are we supposed to do that?
So we expand our team.
Oh boy.
A fake security guard on the inside would depressurize the water system. Somebody else to hack into the power supply and kill
And-
the laser grid.
And a getaway driver.
No, not those 3 wombats.
3 wombats.
It's not too often that you rob a place and they get welcome back. We just robbed you.
You know that he was arrested for stealing a smoothie machine, right?
2 smoothie machines. Oh, we can handle it. We're professionals.
You'll forgive us if we're not instilled with confidence. Well, hey, everybody just get back.
Wait.
A little bit, man. We know our business. We broke into this spooky ass house, didn't we? I let you. Well, one could say that I let you let me.
They can handle this.
Yeah, we can handle it.
You got the credentials?
He's in the system.
I'm in the system.
I'm an assistant, yo!
The system?
That thing we stole, damn.
Oh, that's so cool, bro.
I love Michael Pena.
Weird, alright? It's pretty freaky, but it's safe. There's no reason to be scared.
Oh, no, that ain't no mistake.
They don't scared, man. Watch this. A Brazil!
Jeez, the word. Gypsies. That's witchcraft.
How'd you do that, bro?
Copperfield shit. That's some kind of wizard.
Copperfield.
How'd you do that, bro?
Don't freak out. Look at your shoulder. Thought Daddy didn't get scared.
Gave them each half a Xanax, and Hank explained the science of the suit to them. Alright, sir.
I want to thank you for
No, please don't. We're all doing this for reasons much bigger than any one of us. I'm just glad that you might have a slight chance of maybe pulling us off.
Hey, thank you. You know, that pep talk.
And to be honest with you, this actually went from despising you to almost liking you.
Yeah, almost.
Maybe we should write poetry.
Make some space, Scott.
And she's still sleeping with that rabbit that he gave her for her birthday. He's taking a huge risk coming there with the suit and everything. Especially when her stepdad-ish is still looking for him. And he's kind of wearing the suit he stole.
Alright, just so we're clear, everyone here knows their role, right? Dave? Kurt.
Shut up.
Oh, man, you know what? I get to work.
Don't you know people are watching a movie here?
I'm sorry, I'm good. I'm just excited. And plus, your girlfriend's really hot, so. And you are very beautiful, man. She's up. Hey, you know what? I was thinking of a tactic when I go undercover. Like, I'm whistling. You know what I'm saying? To, like, blend in.
No, don't whistle. No whistling. It's not the Andy Griffith show. No whistling.
Andy Griffith show.
Sector 1. Step up.
Buzz, buzz.
All good.
I'm in the system!
We're sick. Wish me luck.
Feet! And all the ants are following it.
Utilities online.
And he's whistling. He's whistling, It's a Small World. Cause it's a Disney movie. Why not? Do, do, do.
Bossman said to secure the area.
I'm the boss.
Hi. Boom! And didn't see that coming. Surprisingly enough. And it was standing right in front of him.
What level is dropping?
It's coming with 2 ants. They're all on the inside. I think one of them is Anthony. Whee! Surf's up. How are they able to keep themselves afloat? Even with all these insane numbers. Rise! Kind of like the movie Ants. And I hate that movie, by the way. What?
Alright, let's fly, Anthony.
Where did all these ants showed up from? There is an infestation!
Bill's pulling up. Right on time. Got a Crown Vic right outside of here. What's this problem? Considering the Crown Vic's the most commonly used car for undercover cops, man. Yes, this is a problem.
Why would they be there?
Let's go.
That particular event.
Oh, no.
Undeployable ants. Papanera, Clarnamer. I don't remember what it's called, but I feel bad for this guy.
Ow! Hey, go.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I call an unfortunate casualty.
Buzz.
Signal decoy in place. Mean pretty lady did good spot.
Mean pretty lady.
Looks like Pam's getting arrested.
Got to be a problem.
We have problem.
Problem.
Oh boy. Oh.
I don't get in this building. People will die.
Really?
Awfully dramatic.
Whee! Why did he take off his shoes? Hi.
Well, how do I look?
Bold. There's that keychain again. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, there is a reason why I'm harping on that one particular keychain.
There he is. Just in time. Come on.
I wonder if these eye recognizing technology work on people with glasses.
What a headed you, Darren. You really did it.
You only know the half of it.
he's about to know the rest of it. And this douchebag again.
Proceeding to command position.
I love this sequence because it's an incredible mixture of colors. They're really kind of, you know, hacking into a server farm, and it's very colorful. It looks literally like a city. And of course, we recognize the that little tune from earlier when Scott visited Cassie's party. So they know what that van is. Whee! Again, it looks beautiful. It looks like the Millennium Falcon flying through the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. Look at this.
Got the backup completely erased.
Heading to the particle chamber.
Good. Hello again.
Hello, Dr. Cross.
No.
My associates have agreed to your terms.
Wonderful. Mr. Carson introduced me to these fine gentlemen here, the representatives of Hydra. They're not
Because this guy worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., as we've seen in the beginning of the movie. So, you know, we know that half of S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra all along, so... You know.
Wow.
Hmm.
I mean, I saw
punch.
that punch coming a mile away, but I just figured it would be all pathetic and weak.
Well, you figured wrong. I know this man. Anybody home?
No.
Alright, guys, I'm here. Set in the charges.
Oh, nice.
Great job, guys. I'll take it from here.
Nchi?
Good boy.
A little screw there.
Final position.
Whee. What's that screw even doing there? I mean, seriously, who left it there?
Guys, are we looking on a laser grid?
Almost.
Why was there even a laser grid on that thing? Who would be small enough to fit through that?
Let's go, PD. Where's the van? I know you're in there.
It's almost like they planned for Ant-Man to go there.
Ready to jump. You read, Kurt.
So close. Wait a minute. Hey, with the black guy look exactly like me. Put us in the back of this disgusting man. Take it easy.
Police brutality! Police brutality! Feet!
What do you mean, wait?
Press! Wee!
Hey, little guy.
Like I said, he planned for this. Buzz. Kind of like a Mission Impossible
always
thing.
suspected you had a suit stored away somewhere. Which begs the question, who is the new Ant-Man? Who is the man that my beloved mentor trusted even more than me? Scott Lang.
Boom. And he learned about him, apparently.
Losing his family and his only daughter in the process. Exactly your kind of guy, Hank. He escapes his jail cell without leaving any clue as to how. And then,
You touched my daughter!
despite having no money to his name, and now he brings me the Ant-Man suit. The only thing
Harry, don't do this. If you sell to these men, it's going to be chaos.
I already have, and for twice the price, thanks to you. It's not easy to successfully infiltrate an Avengers facility. Thankfully, word travels fast. Oh, I'll sell them the Yellow Jacket, but I'm keeping the particle to myself. They don't run on diesel. If you want the fuel, you'll have to come to me.
Pretty clever plan.
You call the only man who can arm the most powerful weapon in the world.
Tony Stark.
Powerful man in the world.
You proud of me yet?
You can stop this, Karen. It's not too late.
It's been too late for a long time now.
What happened to his head?
Derek,
It wasn't any more capable of caring for you than he was for me.
who you are. It's the particles altering your brain chemistry.
You can kind of see it on him in this one particular scene.
Wait.
If anyone should do this, it should be me.
I have to be the one to do it.
Throw up your gun.
You know, I came to the house the other night to kill him. But you were there.
You're so like you just put the gun down.
I wasn't ready to kill you then. But I think I am now.
Drop your gun now!
You picked the wrong side, Hope.
Whee! Ay, ay, ay! Now, he got shot in the arm, which kind of keeps up with the trend of people in the Phase 2 movies losing their hands. Although, technically, he didn't lose his hand, but still.
Take the suit off or I'll blow your brains out and peel it off.
Yuck. I gotta take this thing from me. Ew.
We got a 1033 at Pip. What's the immediate backup? Go.
And they didn't tie them off yet? What are they waiting for? Ouch.
Get me to the roof and radio ahead. I want to make sure the helicopter's ready to take off. Kill anything that comes out of that vault.
Anything?
We need to get him out of here. Go get that suit.
This scene, by the way, is an homage to a bit of a test footage that they played at Comic-Con years before this movie was made. It was very short test footage just to show that this is filmable now. But back then, of course, they had a completely different director, Edgar Wright, who was supposed to be directing this movie, but eventually him and Marvel had a bit of a falling out because he didn't want to connect this movie to the other MCU movies. Particularly, he didn't want to have Falcon show up. And you know, this movie is actually one of the first few movies to be in production in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was supposed to come out the same year as Iron Man, but it got delayed because of the Cornetto trilogy and stuff. Look, this guy is still a pretty good guy. He's taking time to save the other guy. Anyway, you can pretty much guess what happened next, you know. The keychain! Looks like a keychain to me.
Total chaos in here. Multiple shots fired.
Until now. I love that.
And there's a tank.
There's a tank. That's all you can say about that. And he's leaving.
We need a doctor.
Let's go!
The best laid plans of ants and man. Buzz! Now watch this scene. You have any idea how hard it is to snipe an ant? And again, I gasped at this moment. Just look at this. A few movies ago, they made you cry when a tree died. Now, you're crying when an ant dies. This movie made you care about an ant. Made you feel for an ant dying. How could a movie... what kind of movies do that? Whee!
If you think you can stop the future with a heist, it was never just a heist.
Kaboom! They're taking away the entire building with them. And just to make sure there's no casualties, shrinkage. Kind of like the technology from Thor: The Dark World, with the everything imploding and stuff. Whee! Where?
I got him. There he is. Go, 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 go.
I'm gonna put my suit on, by the way. They put these suits on very quickly in this movie. Even faster than Iron Man. And Iron Man basically has a suit that puts itself around him. Jump, 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 jump. A punch! This fight's awesome. Basically fighting while, flying, falling. And there's an entire fight scene taking place inside a suitcase, for heaven's sakes. And what it is, candy and wires and a phone. Whee!
Disintegration by the cure.
How did that thing even hurt him? Zluch! Whee! Have some keys. What a great fight scene. Jump! And boom. And it lands in some family's pool. The monster from the pool. Shouldn't people be used to stuff like that by now? After the Avengers and what happened in Sokovia and stuff. Whee! Bing! My mom was like, when my mom saw this movie for the first time, she was like, "What? That can't be it." Could be a subtle reference to the first Thor movie. My mom was like, "They can't leave it like this." And boy, was she right. That suit was entirely made of metal, by the way. You know, that was kind of a defibrillator thing. Why did they have to take off his helmet, though?
Turn around, take me back.
I'm taking you back to prison.
There's something in that backyard that needs to be destroyed. In the bug zapper.
Like he's gonna believe you.
Right now! Your delusions are out of hand!
It's not delusions.
Cassie!
Of course, that's gotta be the first thing they're going after. This is a little bit of a preparation for later.
Don't be scared.
Couldn't have done that already. In the car?
Are you a monster?
Do I look like a monster? Yes.
I want my daddy.
I want your daddy too. Get your hands off her.
Daddy, is that you?
Hey, Peanut.
When do you pick on someone your own size?
Zip! Forced him to shrink. Whee! And I love this. This entire action sequence takes place in a little girl's bedroom. I mean, seriously. Just think of, the geography of this scene. Buzz, 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 buzz.
Not just me!
Whee! I brought my army. Buzz, 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 buzz. Kind of funny, because shouldn't Yellow Jackets be huge by comparison? And a Yellow Jacket is about this big. And Ant's about this big. But whatever. Zreek! Whee! It's basically a runaway train sequence. You're gonna run out of things to throw at him eventually. Whee! Watch this, watch this. No! Oh, that's so great. And by the way, that's Thomas the Tank Engine. You know? Another reference to a Disney movie. A Disney, franchise thing.
Scotty needs us, you know what I'm saying?
He needs us! Yeah, we gotta go! Oh, cops. Oh, hello. Bag it up. We're just bagging up. Yeah, bag it up. 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 This and Thor Ragnarok are probably the funniest Marvel movies out there.
Your very existence is insulting to me.
This dialogue kind of gets a little lame.
If you were bigger.
So that's why he's not going bigger. And... Schlucht! Get away from me! Boom! Smash! Probably should have turned on the lights. You guys can see me, right? You can see me? I don't want to get up and leave. I don't want to miss a second of this. I'm coming! Ah! They live! No, wait, that's Them, sorry. It's a completely different movie. Buzz, 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 buzz. Shut up! SSPD, yeah, that's San Francisco. Oh, it's SFPD. Crush! Ugh. I love his fighting style! Punch, shrink, punch, grow, punch, well.
You have to help Daddy pay for his mistakes.
Stay behind me, okay? Stay behind me.
I'm gonna have to shrink between the molecules to get in there. I love you, Cassie.
Break! That! Smash! This sequence is just incredible. He's falling and shrinking, and he's destroying everything he can along the way. Visually, that's unbelievable. But when you think about the reason why he did it, whoosh! Those are dust particles, I believe. You can grow back. Now, you're on a beyond microscopic level. That's an atom, I think. Now this is basically a preparation for Doctor Strange. Very psychedelic. That's an atom. If you look very closely, very closely, there it is. Did you see that? That was the Wasp. A very quick shot of the Wasp. Of Janet, who was stuck in this quantum realm. And like I said, this looks very much like the Doctor Strange movie that came out after this. I remember I was sitting in the theater just mesmerized looking at this thing. I was like, huh? No, the sound didn't go out. That's just how silent this moment is. Eventually, his force of will and determination to come back took over and woke him up. The last one left. Careful! Free fall. Zwroosh! Defying the laws of physics! I wonder how much time has passed since then. Yeah, fix it.
Is she alright? She's fine.
They still have the...
Scott, please. You don't remember anything. Hank, I don't. Must be something else. And I suppose the human mind just can't comprehend the experience.
Unless you're Doctor Strange.
You went in. You got out.
Which means it's possible. Now, you really don't see her face here, which kind of makes me wonder what kind of an idiot took a picture like that, but still, that's because they didn't have an actress playing Janet just yet. And of course, now we already know that it's Michelle Pfeiffer.
Hold on. Something's kind of happening.
Well, if that's the case, shoot me again.
What you do, grab and kiss me like that? I'm a little surprised myself. I have to get somewhere. I'll see you later, Hank. Really?
Scott.
Yeah.
You're full of shit.
Well, Scott, I met with my captain today. He wanted to report the night that you got out of jail.
And
Something happened with the cameras. Circuits got fried. But I told him that you were processed correctly.
Really? Well, yeah.
Can't be sending Cassie's dad back to jail on a technical glitch, right?
Thank you, Baxter. I'm blown away. Thank you for everything you do for Cassie.
That's my pleasure. But no, this one I did for you.
okay, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you talk about after all of that?
Oh, I know. I did my first cartwheel today.
What?
Yeah, she has been practicing all week, but today was the magic day.
Recorded it on my phone.
No, that's
Flip.
That's not you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is a professional gymnast. There's no way that's you.
Ee, doggy, doggy.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Ants don't eat meat.
Sorry.
Actually kept the end. Yeah, work.
Alright, here's the deal. Just give me the facts. Just the facts. Only the facts.
Yeah, the facts.
Focus.
Don't lose yourself.
No doubt. Okay, so I'm at this art museum with my cousin Ignacio, right? And there was this like abstract expressionism exhibit. You know me, I'm more like a neo-cubist kind of guy, right? But there was this one guy-
The facts.
Oh my god.
Luis.
Okay, sorry. I just, I just get excited and stuff. But anyway, Ignacio,
And here we go again. That
my buddy chick,
wonderful sequence.
fine, crazy stupid fine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Look to the bartender.
I believe that's
Girl out with.
Dr. Helen Cho from the Avengers Age of Ultron. And Stan Lee makes a cameo at the end of the movie.
Yo, I'm like a boss.
And he's
The journalist.
talking like him.
Got mad connects with the people behind the curtains, you know what I'm saying? Ignacio's like, for real? And she's like,
For real.
you know what? I can't tell you who my contact is because he works with the Avengers.
Don't.
Oh, no. Yeah, this dude sounds like a badass, man. Like, he comes
Yes,
up to
sounds
me,
like
yo,
it.
I'm looking for you.
And it's Falcon! And he's looking for the guy that kicked his ass.
What you got? And she's like, well, we got everything nowadays. We got a guy who jumps. We got a guy who swings.
Spider-Man!
Walls, you gotta be
Spider-Man again! I think the guy that swings was Daredevil, and the guy that climbs walls is Spider-Man.
The badass for the stupefied body change to tell you, to tell me, because I'm tight with that man, that he's looking for him.
How does he know that?
And? What'd he say?
He said yes.
Damn! What does that mean? Directed by Peyton Reed, as I said. And I love this title sequence because it's basically showing you the world and it's suddenly shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Now, I'm gonna attempt to, turn on the lights. Hold on. There we go, that's much better. I can see me now. Based on the comics by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, and Jack Kirby. Woo! Dum dum da dum 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 da dum. Going smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I love it. Slowly going subatomic. Paul Rudd. Ant-Man. Evangeline Lilly. Corey Stoll. Bobby Cannavale. Michael Pena. T.I. Harris. Anthony Mackie. Wood Harris, Judy Greer, Abby Ryder Forreston, that's Cassie by the way, David Smolchin, something like that, Martin Donovan, Haley Atwell, and Michael Douglas as Hank Pym! Michael Douglas is in a Marvel movie. Awesome! The great Michael Douglas.
All you can do is make sure that it's in the right hands.
And BAM! Look at this!
Advanced prototype that your mother and I worked on together.
It looks so
Never got
great.
to use it.
It looks completely different from
Now I realize.
what it is in the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailers, but still.
Maybe it's time we finish.
Because it still didn't finish it. See, the side of it isn't finished yet. About damn time. About damn time women started appearing in these Marvel movies, right? And, you know, in a more prominent role, as opposed to just being sidekicks. And we're getting that next year with Captain Marvel. So, what can I say? I love this film. It's one of those very underrated Marvel movies, you could say. Whew. Look, Jimmy's dancing. I don't know what to say about. I enjoy watching this movie every time I see it, and you know, whenever the conversation of what are the top 5 best Marvel movies comes up, I hardly ever mention Ant-Man, because I love the movie, but it's not, I don't put it as high as, a Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain America Civil War or, Age of Ultron, some of the upper echelon of Marvel movies. If I had to assemble my personal top 10, top 5, I'd probably have, in no particular order, Captain America the First Avenger, Thor the Dark World, Age of Ultron, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, this is just my list. I mean, you don't have to have a similar one. Who am I to tell you otherwise? Ant-Man I'd probably put somewhere in the middle. Definitely in my top 10, not in my top 5. So, yeah. Maybe one day I'll actually sit down and, design a special ranking system to decide which movies are my favorite and in what particular order. Because right now it's a mess. I mean, I swap out movies literally every day. I mean, sometimes I put, one movie over another. Some other days I put other movies over the ones that were before them. I'm not making any sense, am I? I'm just trying to keep you guys distracted while the credits roll. You still got about 3 minutes till the post-credit scene, the second one at least. But I mean, technically it's it's a scene taken out from Captain America Civil War. So you don't absolutely have to watch it. It's just, you know, I really wish they'd go back to the trend of having these post-credit scenes show us something new, instead of just cutting a scene from the next movie and putting it in this movie. I mean, they still do that, but you know, they did it in this movie. They did it with Doctor Strange. I really wish they just focus. They have 2 post-credit scenes now. I really wish that one scene would promote the next movie in that franchise, the other scene promoting the overall story, you know? So Doctor Strange could have a reference for Doctor Strange 2, and the second post-credit scene would be about Infinity War, you know, something like that. But that's what we're getting, and I'm fine with it. Surprisingly, a lot of songs in this movie. Number 49,837. Again, like I said, slowly but surely edging towards that 50,000 mark. And here we go, the post-credit scene. I remember when I watched it, you know, this was a while before Civil War came up, and I was like, what? What happened? How did they found Bucky? What is it about? What happened a week ago? The Accords? What? And now the money shot. Line. I know a guy. Boom! Ant-Man will return! What? Everybody losing their minds. Right, so. Like I said, I love this movie. I love this movie so much. And there's even a funny story of how I went to see this movie. Because this movie came out around the same time that Terminator Genisys came out. Now, I was still living with my parents back then. My stepdad really wanted to see the Terminator movie, and I really wanted to go see Ant-Man. Now, my mom, she hates ants. She hates everything that has any sort of resemblance to insects, including lobsters. So, she just hates everything with more than 4 legs. I'll just say that. So she ain't gonna go watch a movie about ants. Ants. So, and there's only one car, and we live outside of the city at that time. So, we kind of reached an arrangement that she drive us all to the movie theater. That's when we split up. They went and watched Terminator Genisys, whatever his name was, and I went in about half an hour earlier to see Ant-Man. Of course, my movie finished about half an hour earlier, so I went out and bought some Legos until they finished their screening, and then we came back home. I went back to my computer and I started, working on the new Legos that I bought. And she just came into my room and sat on my bed, and she was like, Ant-Man. Right. Ant-Man. And I was like, yeah, Ant-Man. What's so wrong about that? It's Ant-Man. She was like, what's next? And I was like, Doctor Strange. And she said, Doctor, what? Doctor Strange. And at that point, she just got up and left. So, it's a very funny story that I'm being reminded of every time I see this movie. So, I really hope you enjoyed this little extra nugget, an extra look into my life, my very complicated and boring life. And I'll see you guys on my next commentary.